Okay, good morning, all. I can't believe that today's Thursday already. Um, Time is just one of those things, right? You just can't manufacture it. Um, okay, a couple of quick updates. One, Allison will be joining the operations team. She'll be leading the planning efforts, uh, and just a little context, right, on how we view the difference between design and planning. So, as we get bigger, right, design is the group who spends capital dollars. Capital dollars are money that we invest to grow our network, to increase revenue, to do all of those things, right? So they design projects that expand our network and enable us to um, to grow revenue. Planning is more of a an expense group, so they spend M dollars, which are like maintenance, and their responsibility is to oversee the operations network, uh, which is the network to the customer side and including the aggregation cabinet. So as we grow the number of properties we have, there will be a lot more work that goes into proactively monitoring the network and at times expanding it, creating capacity, in our network. So there's a lot to do there, right? Allison has all of the requisite um, knowledge in spades, right? She's done it many times, and she has a deep understanding of what that will take. So uh, she and I are working together to present a kind of a framework and a plan, right, along with process and tools to launch that. And of course, I'll be leaning very heavily on Allison because um, she's got the vision in her mind, and it sounds really good to me. Um, so there's that. The other update is I started onboarding Paul Lopez, who most of you have met yesterday. He's eager to get started. He doesn't start till the 8th, but he's agreed to kind of do some pre-work to get up to speed. Uh, I understand that feeling, right? Because when you're going into a new spot, there's a certain amount of anxiety, right, that goes along with what don't I know. Um, so we had a good long conversation yesterday, and he's excited to get going. So the first things I'm handing off to him, one is the vendor management, and one more thing. I've been working on the SOWs and our contracts. Um, we are not necessarily our contract, but the SOW specifically. Um, we need to simplify, right, what we're doing and what we expect from the vendors, and our deep dive retro, um, whatever we want to call it. And thanks to Stephanie and Mike for kind of leading that effort. There are a bunch of things, nothing huge, but things that we need to change so that as these contracts start coming in and the results from the work are being managed, that they are standard and simple, right, and not complicated and ambiguous. that'll save us a lot in the future. So he's doing that. He's also going to be reviewing all of our typical designs um, in connection, in hand in hand with the material list for each typical design. I'm hoping he can get through most of them this week, mark them up, ask questions. It's always beneficial to get a new and unbiased view, right, on what we have. I think by now we're all, you know, a little too close to it. So he's going to do those things. He's also going to be looking to build out his team. We have to hire a 3-man install crew, one of which needs to have a low voltage license in Massachusetts. That's part of what he needs to do. We, and I'd say it'll probably be me, need to hire a warehouse person up in Massachusetts, and we need to hire an inspector. I'm probably not going to hire them all at once. I don't think we need them all at once. My guess is we hire the 3. They can work as inspectors and also help out with the warehouse. So, and we'll we'll add some folks as we need them, or as they present themselves. Quite frankly, a warehouse person could be the first person we hire if they have the potential, right, to help out in other areas. So, also Rich, who some of you have met, we're going to be sending out the logistics communications this morning, looking, sending out approvals, looking to spend money, and actually get the orders in place. And then based on anticipated delivery dates, the logistics team will be filling out the pallet ship date forecasts, which will drive, for a lot of these projects, the we call the UR, or the switch enclosure work, right? So we have teams pricing up and out doing the service drop work, but they'll be based on the material delivery dates. We can get a good idea of when we can follow up with that work, which I would like at least one of our vendors to be doing. After that, we can start focusing on the air hub work, and depending on how the vendor who's doing the switch enclosure work adapts and performs, we can start thinking about handing off some air hub work to them as well. The goal is not to have any of us out in the field, except for Jake doing some training for both our guys and our folks, and for the vendors folks. So that's that. We did hire another individual, Keisha, who a lot of you have met. It ends up she's going to be working in operations. Anyway, she's going to be working in operations, which creates a real and urgent need for the PMO, because we don't have anybody working the PMO or project management. I sent out a couple of resumes yesterday or the day before. I'll be scheduling meetings today, for today, later today and tomorrow. Please take the time to have these calls so I can get some PMO folks lined up. We also have a gap excuse me, in design. that's not so urgent now that we're not looking to you know, use the design work to make payroll. But you know, it's not something that we want to leave uh, untouched for too long. I think we want to be ready in the next week or two to jump back on that. So part of the plan is the project managers that you're going to be looking at this week also have experience as sales engineers, which, you know, is good experience really for what we're doing, right? And they have experience working in the MDU world. So, you know, if we can hire them, and I've explained this to them, they're happy to jump in and start helping us with the design work, knowing that, you know, we will at some point be, you know, the design work will hopefully come to an end at the end of the year, and, you know, there will be a much greater need for project managers. They're both East Coast folks, which is a big help. Okay. So today, yesterday I spent a lot of my time talking to Paul and Rich and Keisha. I also had some long conversations with vendors. What I need to do today is I need to finish the new scope of work first thing. Paul, I'll make the introduction of Paul to the vendors today, and he needs a scope of work that incorporates all the lessons learned and how we want them to do their invoicing and all that stuff, right? So that we can, one, simplify the process of getting these things started, but also possibly look for additional vendors, which we might need. Okay, so and I also want to close on this note. I mean, I think you all know at this point that scaling is hard. It's never clean, right? We definitely could have done better, right, at the start of this. And we have lost some time, right? Time will tell exactly how much time we've lost. We're not where we wanted to be going into September. Probably not where we needed to be going into September. However, right, we have made progress, and we need to learn, right? But most of all, we need to stick to the plan, right? And we are changing our framework as a team of generalists, right? Some folks having specific knowledge, to teams that are focused on delivering on their organization's forecast. And what's really important, vitally important for all of our efforts, is that we maintain a level of credibility with the people that we're trying to hire as employees, and with the companies we're trying to partner with as vendors. What we don't want to do, and I mentioned this in one of the decks I shared in the employee space. What we don't want to do is run around kind of causing chaos, right? We need, even if we need to stick to the plan, right? Deviations from the plan aren't going to be helpful, especially if they're short time gain items, like I mentioned yesterday, right? If what we're doing isn't going to help us get to 10 projects a month, starting and finishing, then that process is, our time is better spent, right? Getting ourselves to that point, because we're gonna have to do it sooner or later anyway, right? Um, so we're not where we wanted to be. We might say we're not where we could have been, but it's not all doom and gloom, right? We still have, over a year to get this done. If we get to 2,500 units a month, we'll still be successful, right? But we need to follow the plan and not kind of try and patch things together, because we're not where we want it to be for lots of reasons, right? So just remember that. And if anybody has any questions on that, please just ask. And I am, I'll apologize again for not being as available as I have been in the past. But I do anticipate that once I'm able to hand off these 4 engines and start managing the people that are doing the things, I will have more time to do some of the things that I've done in the past, and be more communicative, right? So anyway, keep smiling, right? We're gonna get there, but we gotta keep our heads down, do what we can do, right? Learn to kind of stay in our lanes, because we've all got big things that we have to do. Be supportive of each other, and keep smiling, right? Because 2 months from now we'll be in a much different place, and it'll be really good, right? It'll be fantastic. Okay, so all right, that's enough of me. Thanks everybody, and I'll talk to you soon.